This is the David Renta, convicted of a crime he did not commit. Renta spent 22 years in prison. In Brooklyn, New York, Renta was arrested by Detective Scarcella, a detective involved in several wrongful convictions. David Renta was identified as a shooter in a robbery. He was arrested on August 13, 1990, even though there was no evidence to connect Renta to the shooter. It was proven that all the evidence given to the jury was all fabricated, false evidence that sentenced Renta to 37 years in jail. But after 2 decades in prison, witnesses admitted to being pressured to testify against Renta. This is the moment when he was finally cleared.
Over his back.
Thank you all.
He received over $6 million in compensation. Susan Mellon. This woman was sentenced to spend the rest of her life in prison for a crime she didn't commit. She was accused of killing her ex-boyfriend. She was 42 years old when she was sentenced to life imprisonment. 17 years later, the defense managed to cast doubt on the only person who testified against her, June Patty, a woman who had a reputation as a liar and a long history of false testimonies. While Susan was at the restaurant with her daughter, she had no idea that this would supposedly be her daughter's last day out of prison. After 17 years of trying to prove her innocence, this was finally her most anticipated day.
The conviction is overturned, and as to Ms. Mellon, the case is dismissed.
After leaving the trial, Susan took her daughter to eat and enjoy the lost moment. She received about $12 million in compensation. After 25 years, Daniel's long nightmare has come to an end. In 1993, Daniel was a 16-year-old high school student from Texas, and that's when Daniel's life was ruined. He was accused of having killed 2 people. Only in 2018 was he found innocent, and the moment was emotional. He was the victim of false confessions and spent 18 years in prison.
Please be seated. I'm the defendant, Daniel Villegas, not guilty of... Juror number 1, you are free to leave.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir.
John Bunn. This is John, convicted of a crime he didn't commit, wronged by justice.
An innocent man, Your Honor, and I have always been an innocent man.
John spent over 16 years in prison. On August 14, 1991, 2 prison officers were shot in their car during a robbery. One of the agents lost his life. Louis Scarcella, a NYPD detective later accused of serially falsifying evidence. Yes, the same detective from the first case we show in this video.
That is totally ridiculous.
John was arrested aged just 14 at the time, and Rosie and 17-year-old Hargrave threw a complaint anonymous the next day. Although none of the teens fit the physical descriptions provided by the victim agent, the jury convicted both teens. Only in 2013 did evidence of extensive misconduct by Detective Scarcella come to light. Only in 2018 was John found innocent and a free man after 27 years of fighting to prove his innocence. Before going, he had a moment with the judge.
I want to thank you, Your Honor, because in 27 years, I've been fighting for my life.
Ricky Jackson. American citizen, victim of a judicial error in the United States, was convicted of taking the life of businessman Harry Franks in 1975. The accusation against Jackson was based mainly on Eddie S. account. Vernon, a 12-year-old boy who allegedly saw the event. He was sentenced to be executed in an electric chair, a penalty that was later turned into life imprisonment. Later in a retrial after Ricky had spent 39 years in prison, the main witness admitted that he had not seen anything. He claimed that the police had pressured him to testify against Ricky Jackson. This is the moment Ricky is out of prison a free man.
Small victories, and this is a big one. I wish you good luck.
All right.
He received over $3 million in compensation.
They don't fit it. I feel it.